Well, hello everyone. I'm assuming that if you're watching this, it means you're either following along with our longest night liturgy, or that in some way you're interested in exploring this kind of idea of the longest night, the darkest night of the year. This Advent is a dark season in general, but this is a dark night. And this is a really dark time of the year, literally, but we're also invited into thinking about the ways in which this is a dark season metaphorically, which is interesting. For some people, uh, the Christmas season is a fantastic time, right? We're celebrating, we're baking cookies, it's great. But for a lot of people, this is a time that is full of pain and loss. Maybe you've lost somebody even in the last year, and this will be the first Christmas that you'll spend without them. And so I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how painful that must be, and to say sorry that I regret that you won't be with them this year. Maybe you're in pain physically. Maybe you've been hurt or abused, and you're going to be with your abuser over the holiday season. I don't know what the pain is, and yet I just understand that sometimes these seasons are kind of dark and not so fun. So I want to invite us into the spiritual practice of lament this year. It's an ancient practice, been happening for thousands of years. It's a spiritual practice. Lament is a willingness to own, to name, to claim all of our emotions and to live in that tension. It takes time, it takes space. Lament allows room for all of the emotions that we might encounter in life, including grief and loss and pain and anger. Lament allows space for anger, for us to be mad that things aren't the way that we want them to be and we wish they were different. And even it even allows room for us to be mad at God, for us to rail against God, and to say, how much longer? The Psalms are full of that phrase, how much longer, God, before you come and you make things right again, because this is not great, and I'm tired of it being this way, and I wish that you would show up. In fact, there's an entire book of the Bible called Lamentations that is 4 chapters of a writer essentially railing against God, lamenting over the pain and loss that they've experienced in their life. And it is spiritual. It's included in our Holy Scriptures. I love chapter 3, where the writer says, I am one who has seen affliction. By the rod of the Lord's wrath he has driven me away and made me walk in darkness rather than light. Indeed, he has turned his hand against me again and again all day long. He has besieged me and surrounded me with bitterness and hardship. He has made me dwell in darkness like those long dead. He has walled me in so I cannot escape. He has weighed me down with chains. Even when I call out or cry for help, he shuts out my prayer. He has broken my teeth with gravel. He has trampled me in the dust. I have been deprived of peace. I have forgotten what prosperity is. So I say my splendor is gone and all that I had hoped from the Lord. That is angry. That is painful, and that is lament. And it is okay. It is good. Lament is fine. God has broad shoulders, and he can handle our anger. He can handle our pain. He's okay with us railing against him when it seems like we're just not getting a fair shake, when it seems like things are not going our way. And that's the Advent season too, is in this time of the year we're saying, God, how much longer? How much longer until you come and you make things right? It seems like the world is spiraling out of control. We need you to come back. We need you to show up in a brand new way, and to institute your kingdom, to bring your kingdom in its fullness and rid the world of the ways in which it has spiraled out of control. It is okay to lament. But lament doesn't have to just mean sorrow and anger and grief. It is those things. But lament is a complicated thing. Lament is the willingness to sit in the worst that life can throw at us, and still, in that moment, in that pain, in that struggle, to declare boldly, is that all you got? It's to hold hope in the midst of the deepest, darkest, painful experiences that we could ever experience, to still say, God, I trust you, and I know that you are good. And is that all you've got? Lament is sitting in the pain, but not being overcome by it. To not allow ourselves to be broken in a final way. So there's this poem that I came across today by this author named Renee Altzen, and she says this in a simplistic but beautiful way. She says, I sit in the darkness, waiting with clenched fists for the light. I think that's so beautiful. It still names the pain. She sits in the darkness. It's not good. It's not great. And she sits there with clenched fists. She's angry. She is experiencing pain and brokenness, and yet she sits there in the darkness with clenched fists for the light. She's sitting in the pain but not being overcome by it. I love how Lamentations continues, this beautiful little section. I remember my affliction and my wandering, the bitterness and the gall. I well remember them, and my soul is downcast within me. So there's still pain, there's still anger. But then the writer continues, Yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. For his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And that is the spirit of lament, that we can hold the pain. We can sit there in the pain, we can get angry in the pain, and yet we hold out hope because God's mercies are new every morning and his faithfulness is great. So, if you are someone for whom the Christmas season isn't all that fun, maybe you've lost someone, maybe you're struggling, maybe your relationship with your spouse isn't going that well, maybe you know you're going to a Christmas dinner and you're going to be sitting across the table from someone who has hurt you, who has abused you. I don't know what your pain is, but if this season brings up some hurt, some struggle, I'm inviting you into a spirit of lament, into the practice of lament, but I'm inviting you to hold your anger and your grief in this season, the darkness of life, but also to hold hope simultaneously. I'm inviting you to trust and to know that God is good, that he loves you, that he has been with you in all of the moments of your life. In the midst of your deepest, darkest pain, he has been with you there, encouraging you, walking alongside with you, and he will be moving forward as well. So be angry, be mad, be hurt, grieve the pain in your life, but do so with hope, knowing that there is a good God that loves you so much and wants to be with you in the midst of all the brokenness that life can bring. Thank you. Amen.